Namo Amida Butsu. The title of this video is very straight and to the point. I take refuge only in Amida Buddha, not in God or Jesus. I am not a Christian. I am not a Muslim. I am not a Jain. I am not a Jew. I am not a Zoroastrian. I am not a Hindu. I am a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist. That means that the only being I worship and pay homage to and entrust myself to is Amitabha Buddha. I've said in other videos how I've met a lot of Buddhists that refer to their Buddhism as kind of an afterthought. It's, in many cases, they inherited it from their culture, or it's something they play around with. But when it comes down to it, they will sing Christmas carols, go to church with their family, eat meat, get drunk in bars. As one group of Buddhists told me over the phone when I was searching as a kid to find out what Buddhism was all about, hey, whatever makes you happy makes the Buddha happy. Well, that's bullshit, as I've talked about in other videos. And I'm going to put links from my Sensei's teaching, Dharma teachings, in the description to this video to prove it. One is an example of the false teaching of Thich Nhat Hanh, why I sometimes use harsh language when defending the Dharma. There is no supreme creator God in Buddhism. Another one by Josho Sensei is his book, The True Teaching on, let's see which one's this, The True Teaching on Amida and His Pure Land. And this is very important to me. I made a video a couple of minutes ago before making this one, wishing everyone happy winter Ohigan, and talking about how nice it is as a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist to have my own holidays, which are conducive with my own identity as a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist. And anyone who knows me knows my faith comes first. My faith in Amida is all to me. It doesn't matter what happens with me, my body, my mind, my life. Above all things, I want it known I entrust myself to Amida, and I entrust myself only to Amida. I told you once I went to a Zen meditation group a long time ago, and the woman there was talking to this younger person who was a Christian, and she said, "Oh yes, yes." The woman who was holding the meditation group said, "Oh yes, I believe in God and Jesus. God is the creator of the world and Jesus is the Messiah. But I see Buddha as the teacher." Well, first of all, you're not a Buddhist from that point. And it's not in my opinion. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in Amida Buddha solely. I take refuge in the Dharma. In my case, I take refuge in the Amida Dharma solely. I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I take refuge in the Buddha and his teaching and his community only. And I've actually ended friendships over people who were full of shit when it came to the Dharma. I had one former friend who I loved dearly, but he decided he was going to try another school of Buddhism, which is fine, and we could have still been friends, but he made the mistake of checking out the Book of Mormon that someone had given him to read, and he was studying the Book of Mormon, and anyone who knows me knows it is a big fucking mistake to slander the Dharma to me. And he said, oh yeah, the Book of Mormon, it's like Pure Land Buddhism. I said, what did you say? I said, did you just say the Book of Mormon is like Pure Land Buddhism? And he's like, yeah. And that was it. I cut him off. You know? And I loved the guy. But I take the Dharma serious because this alone is what has changed my life. I don't agree with teachers like Thich Nhat Hanh, and yes, I know he's passed away and all, but that doesn't matter. His teaching still endures, and a lot of people think that his teaching is law. It is absolute when it comes to Buddhist theology and ideology, and that is not true. Because, let's see, what does he say? This is a quote. There is a misconception that Buddhism is a religion and that you worship Buddha. Buddhism is a practice like yoga. You can be a Christian and practice Buddhism. False. You can be, and I met a Catholic priest who lives in a Buddhist monastery in France. Then why the fuck is he a Catholic priest? He told me that Buddhism makes him a better Christian. False. It shows that the guy didn't know anything about Buddhism or Christianity. As a Christian, you accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior in one form or another, even if it's through Mary or the saints. In Buddhism, I take refuge in the Buddha. Not in Krishna, not in Shiva, not in Jesus, not in Yahweh, not in Allah. I take refuge in the Buddha. Initially, that was Shakyamuni Buddha I took refuge in. I then took refuge in Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. And then, after meeting Paul Roberts, I received Amida's gift of Shinjin. And forever till the day I die, I am a person totally devoted to Amitabha Buddha in mind, body, and spirit. I worship Amida Buddha. I do. It is not a practice like yoga. I take my refuge vows totally seriously, to the point that I do not give homage or nods to other gods of other religions. And this is Christmas time, and a lot of people assume, because you're an old white guy, that you believe in Jesus and that you celebrate Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving. I'm a vegan. I don't eat meat because I take seriously Shakyamuni's mandate on his deathbed before he went into parinirvana about his disciples from that moment on would no longer eat meat. I take seriously the worship I give to Amitabha Buddha. It's not like a yoga practice. I don't mix Tai Chi or yoga or Zen meditation. I don't even mix other practices from other Buddhist schools with my Jodo Shinshu practice of Buddhism. I am Jodo Shinshu, straightforward. This year I celebrate Winter Ohigan. That's why I made the video. I don't celebrate Christmas. I tolerate it. Now, I don't hate anything. I mean, if you're a Christian, you practice Christmas. I mean, although I don't understand why, as a secular nation here in the United States of America, we practice a religious holiday. I don't understand either why we have on our currency, "In God We Trust," even if it's an eye in a pyramid. You know, a Masonic concept, of deist concept of God. I'm a Buddhist. I believe in the existence of a lot of beings, spirits, maras, yakshas, hungry ghosts, pretas, and gods, asuras, demigods. I believe in these things. I do not, however, believe in an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving creator God. Certainly not all-loving. I've read the Bible many times, all the way through. I've studied the Bible. And I'm not going to go on a rant against the Bible. I've already done that. And people are well aware of how I feel about the religion I left. I was raised Southern Baptist. And I went searching for the truth, and I found it in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. But I think a lot of Buddhists, regardless of what your school of Buddhism is, need to take their refuge vows quite seriously. I don't have a Christmas tree. You know, I don't put up Christmas lights. I don't have a menorah in the window. I don't celebrate, you know, Festivus or whatever. I mean, my life till the day I die is sewn up in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. It is sealed in non-retrogression due to my faith in Amitabha Buddha. Amida Buddha is my life. And I take my worship of him, and yes, it is worship. And people there are Buddhists who try to downplay this. It's like, yeah, well, Buddhists don't really see him as like a god. No, we see him better than a god. We see all Buddhas as superior to all gods. And that includes a creator God that monotheists believe in. As a Buddhist, that's why it's called Buddhism. I give honor and worship to the Buddhas. And I give honor and worship to all Buddhas by entrusting and worshiping Amitabha Buddha. Because all Buddhas, in all realms and in all directions, say the name of Amitabha Buddha and give him reverence. As do I. I don't need anything else. I don't need silent meditation. I don't need to people please anymore. I grew up being raised, I got to make people like me. And I think for the first time in my life, now as an old man, I've had the epiphany that no, I live the life I've searched for and found in Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha Buddha is life to me. Amitabha Buddha is light to me. Amitabha Buddha and his teachings are wisdom to me. I don't go outside to seek light and wisdom anymore. I'm no longer curious. I worship and entrust myself to Amitabha Buddha. I take refuge in Amida, not in God or Jesus. And I understand this title and this video offend a lot of people. Get over it. No apologies given. I'm not being confrontational. I'm setting direct boundaries. And I think it's sad that a lot of Buddhists don't. And it leads a lot of non-Buddhists who might be interested in Buddhism into thinking incorrectly that all Buddhists don't take Buddha or Buddhism, their so-called faith in Buddha, seriously. To that I say, anyone who feels this way, who doesn't take Buddha or Buddhism seriously, you're not a Buddhist. It's very straightforward. You have 3 vows that qualify you as a Buddhist, as a practicing Buddhist. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge only in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma, aka the teachings of that Buddha. I take refuge in the Sangha. That means that I find spiritual camaraderie with members of my own faith. In my case, Amida School of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. I have met no other Sangha like this Sangha. And I love these people. They are, I would say, they are like family, but I wouldn't insult them. They are beyond family to me. These are my comrades in the faith. These are my brothers and sisters on the path. These are people I will rejoice with and embrace in the pure land of Amitabha Buddha. And I don't mean that metaphorically or ironically. I am serious in the existence of Amida, of his pure land, and of the actual birth I will receive in that pure land. So I wanted to say that, because I know this time of year there's a lot of Buddhists who are like, oh hey, sure, yeah, you know, ho ho ho, Namo Amida Butsu. That's what I say. I don't say ho ho ho. I say Namo Amida Butsu. I say Namo Amida Bu. Every day of my life I say this. Every day of my life. That is who I worship. That is who I take refuge in. That is my life. That person right there on that altar. That altar is made as my center of faith. It reflects the faith I experience moment to moment with the rising of the desire within me to say that sacred, most sacred name of Amitabha Buddha. That is the name that is the game changer in my life. To the point to where it transcends me, my life, my thoughts, everything in my life. The day-to-day bullshit and drama of living in this Saha prison. And there's beauty in prison. There are activities in any prison. There's friendships in prison, some that last for life. But it's a prison. This is not where you want to be, is in prison. The Saha realm of suffering and desire, especially in this age of Mappo, the Dharma ending age, the age of Dharma decline. It's not where you want to live. It's not where you want to continually wish to be reborn over and over and over again. So no, this isn't a thing, this is of dire importance to me. This faith I have in Amida Buddha, this refuge I take in Amida, not in God, any other God or spirit, is what sets me free from this realm. Anyone who says, you know, you don't really worship Buddha, it's all just a concept, this is like yoga or Tai Chi or Pilates or, you know, fuck that. No, this is the most important thing that you could ever experience, is the salvation, the actual salvation from this realm, because due to the grace and love of the living Buddha Amida, who I worship and I adore every minute of my life. Now, am I always saying Namo Amida Bu? No. Most of the time, yes, I am. I mean, it is like breathing, as I've said in other videos. It's something that I know I will never regress from. Even if my mind goes, even if I go stark raving mad and say all sorts of endless bullshit, it doesn't matter. It has no effect on my Shinjin. I say this with absolute, undeniable knowing and certainty. That is the definition of my Shinjin, that knowing that Amida and his pure land are real, and that knowing that in my life after I die in this one, I will be born in the pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. I will be with him forever. And it won't end there. I will come to all of you, in whatever realm you're in, as a Buddha, in different forms, in different ways, to gently and lovingly guide you to this realization that I have. So I just wanted to share with everyone, unironically, unapologetically, with absolute certainty. Let there be no doubt. I take refuge in Amida, not in God, Jesus, or any other spirit, any other being, any other God, any other deity. And yes, my worship of Amida Buddha is actual real worship, which far exceeds any worship I've ever had for any other God, spirit, or deity in my younger years. Namo Amida Butsu.